Hi, I'm Marriage Coach Lynn. Welcome to part 2 of Reenergize Your Marriage in 21 Days. If you haven't already looked at the introduction or part 1, please do so, as this is kind of a building block. Now, today's exercise is think highly of your spouse all day long. I know I said I'd try to keep these videos about 3 minutes, but this one might be 5 or 6 because I want to share with you my experiences with this exercise. So exercise 2, think highly of your spouse all day long. What I'd like you to do is actually obsess and fill your mind all day long with positive thoughts of your spouse. Now, what if you're at a point in your marriage where it's hard to be positive all day long? Well, maybe you can think back to an earlier time, a vacation. You can think back to just positive moments in your relationship. You know, when you bombard your mind with positive thoughts, an overabundance of positive thoughts, wonderful things can happen. You push out the negativity. And so this is what I hope you will find today. So let me just go over a little bit. Your assignment today is to write something down each hour on the hour. Now that sounds a little obsessive, but by the end of the day, you will have 8 things that you've written about your spouse. At that moment in time, you can set a timer or you can just keep track. Just jot down a couple of thoughts that come to mind. Positive thoughts, things if you've been thinking about your spouse and you're feeling warm, just go ahead and write that which will draw you closer to your spouse. And the reason we want to bombard our minds with the positive thoughts is because your actions, behaviors, and feelings often follow your thoughts. Let's see what happened to me when I did this exercise. At this point in my life, many stressful things are going on. About 2 months ago, my husband had a major illness. He's doing better. He's also had 2 minor but significant health problems. So we've had 2 months of ongoing health issues to deal with, as well as we were renting a home in a new location. We've moved from Virginia to Florida. We were renting a home and we found an opportunity. The right house came into our life. So we signed, purchased, and moved into a house. So if you know the Likert scale of stress, when you have divorce, moving across country, major illness, death in the family, these things can be stressful. And in our marriage, I find that I've been feeling annoyed and impatient. And so this was a good exercise for me to do. I did it yesterday. So at 9 a.m., the thought that came to my mind was, my husband is not lazy. He works hard. He takes action on what needs to be done. And so after this feeling, I decided to call him at work and share that with him. And that started my day off great. And then I also talked on the phone that I'm starting to see that I've had some negative thoughts of him. I've been expecting him to move into the house and do more. And so I think I've been a little unreasonable and a little negative. So I started my day off starting to open up with some positive thoughts. At 10 a.m., I thought to myself that my husband makes a lot of sacrifices. I just started thinking of all the little sacrifices that he makes, the little things that add up. Later on, another hour, I thought of him as determined, another hour striving, another hour dedicated and concentrated, another hour driven. So you see the pattern that is happening. The pattern that was happening is kind of career related. He hasn't had time to really spend on the home. He's been preparing for a certification, and he's been preoccupied with that. So as I thought of these words, I thought to myself that this is what he needs to focus on at this moment in time, and it's not about me and my selfishness and what I'd like him to do. I'm just thinking about, wow, he's really dedicated. Then I might have forgotten about the exercise for a couple hours, got busy with dinner, got busy with the afternoon, and then at 6 p.m. I thought, my husband is beautiful and breathtaking. And he was like, what? Beautiful and breathtaking? I say, yes, Bob. After 30 years, you do take my breath away. I love you very much. And you're a beautiful person. So those ideas came to me. Okay. At 7 p.m., I wrote down resilient. He's very resilient about his health challenges and struggles, and he's very positive about it. So resilient was a really good thought that came to mind. Now, if I hadn't been doing this exercise, I might not have been really, really focusing and concentrating and thinking and focusing on him so much. So at 8 o'clock, it hit me that he is seldom resting. You won't find him sitting down watching too many movies or television or sports. He's just very busy with what needs to be done, taking care of things. And so what I told him is that, Bob, I learned about you by thinking about you. And I learned something about myself. I learned in this exercise of thinking highly of your spouse all day long, I learned that my perception of him was one thing, but then when I really sat down and had to come up with some descriptive words about his values or his behaviors, they were very positive, and it really made for a great day. Now, I decided to do this. I'm not going to ask him to do it for me. In this program, you can do it yourself, or your spouse can also do it, but I feel that at this point, I would like to do it. I'm just not going to ask him to reciprocate, only if he wanted to. So I wanted to share that because this was one exercise, and I hope it's one of 21 for you. It was one exercise that made me more feelings of love opening up, feelings of closeness. So exercise 2 is think highly of your spouse all day long, and every hour for maybe 8 hours, I'd like for you to just write down what thoughts come to mind about your spouse, and maybe later in the evening you can share them. So make your marriage great, and I will see you next time.